What if getting older didn't automatically mean losing your sight? I mean, really think about that. What if the answer to treating blindness wasn't just about slowing down the damage, but actually turning back the clock on our cells? Well, let's dive into the incredible science that's trying to make this a reality.
You know, for the longest time, certain types of blindness have been treated like a one-way street. Damage happens, vision fades, and that's it, story over. But a completely new approach is asking this amazing question. What if we could just convince our old worn-out cells to become young and healthy again?
So where does a story like this even begin? Well, it starts with the fight against two really devastating eye diseases, both of which were famous for causing nerve damage that was thought to be totally irreversible.
On one hand, you've got open-angle glaucoma. It's often called the silent thief of sight because it just creeps up on you slowly. And on the other, you have NAIN, which is basically like a sudden stroke in your eye that can steal your vision in an instant. Now, as different as they sound, they share this one tragic problem. The nerve cells connecting the eye to the brain die off, and they don't grow back. Until now, the best we could do is just try to pump the brakes on the damage.
Okay, so this is where things get really wild. What if, instead of just managing the fallout, we could actually hit a reset button? What if we could rejuvenate those aging, failing cells and tell them to get back to work?
The tech that makes this possible is called partial epigenetic reprogramming. Now, the magic word here is epigenetic. We're not changing a cell's DNA, that's the hardware. Instead, we're changing which genes are turned on or off. We're messing with the software. It is literally like telling a slow, old computer to restore its original factory settings so it starts running like it's brand new.
So how in the world do you do that? Well, scientists use this very specific cocktail of three proteins. You see them here: OCT4, SOX2, and KLF4. Together, they're known as the OSK factors. You can think of them like master keys that unlock a cell's built-in ability to be young again, and they're what kickstarts this whole rejuvenation process.
And get this brilliant idea hasn't just stayed in a petri dish. Nope. It's actually been developed into a real-world experimental therapy, and it has a name: ER-100.
The way it works is actually pretty elegant. It's a two-part system. First, there's a one-time injection that uses a harmless virus, like a little biological delivery drone. Its mission? To drop off the genetic software, those OSK factors, right into the retinal cells in the eye. Then, part two. The patient just takes a common antibiotic pill. And that pill? It's the on switch. It tells the cells, okay, time to start the rejuvenation process, and they begin to repair themselves. Now, the company behind all this is Life Biosciences. It was co-founded by David Sinclair, a Harvard professor who is, frankly, one of the giants in the science of aging. Their entire reason for existing is to take this kind of futuristic anti-aging science and turn it into actual medicine that can treat real diseases.
But look, a mind-blowing idea and a cool company aren't enough, right? You have to prove this thing can work, and more importantly, that it's safe before you can even think about trying it in a person. So what did that journey from the lab to the first patient actually look like?
This right here was the moment of truth. Back in 2024, they tested the therapy in primates who had a condition a lot like NAIO. And the results? They were just remarkable. Not only did it reduce vision loss, but it actually helped the nerve cells survive. This was the critical proof of concept they needed to even dream of moving forward.
And once they had that data, things started moving fast. I mean, really fast. Just over a year after they presented those primate results, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, the FDA, gave them the green light. They cleared the way for the first ever human trials to begin.
Which brings us to today, right now. For the very first time, this revolutionary cellular rejuvenation therapy is actually being tested in human patients. This isn't science fiction anymore, folks. It's happening. So here's a quick look at the trial. It's going to involve about 18 patients who have either glaucoma or NION. But I want you to look at that primary goal. Before they even get to see if it restores vision, the #1 mission, the absolute top priority, is to prove that this therapy is safe. With technology this groundbreaking, safety is everything. Let's just pause and let this sink in for a second, because this is a huge deal. This is not just another trial for a new eye drug. This is the very first time in history that a therapy designed to actually reverse aging at a cellular level has been approved for testing in human beings. We are literally watching a whole new chapter of medicine being written. And this is where the implications just become monumental. Look, this trial is focused on the eye,
It's a nicely contained system, a perfect place to test this kind of technology safely. But if it works, if we can truly and safely tell cells in one part of our body to just be young again, then what's next? What other diseases of aging could we go after? This trial isn't just about curing blindness. It's about cracking open the door to a completely new era of medicine.